So, Mr. Cameraman, I don't mean to brag, but earlier today I was trying on an article of clothing that I wore 5 years ago, and get this, it still fits me perfectly. And I think it's a nice color scarf, actually. Oh, hello everyone, Brian Richards here. I apologize, I was talking to my imaginary cameraman, but I know you didn't come here to learn about how I managed to not gain much weight in my neck. Actually, you came here to learn a self-working card trick, and that's exactly what we're going to do. So if you have a regular deck of cards, get it out, and let's get into today's tutorial. Here we go. Are you ready? For this trick, I'm going to give a little deck a shuffle here. We'll give it a couple little cuts like so. And then what I do is I invite a volunteer to cut the deck, and they can cut anywhere from, say, 5 to 20 cards off of the deck. So let's just say they cut right about here. That's perfect. We'll put those aside for a moment. I then invite them to choose a card, and they really do have a free selection. There's no forcing or anything like that. We'll say they choose this card, which is the 4 of Diamonds. Okay? Now what we're going to do is we're going to actually take their card. We're going to put it back into the deck, so it'll be lost. And we can even give this actually a little riffle shuffle like so, and we can give it a couple cuts just like that. And then once this is done, everything's good. We're going to use this deck, the packet that they cut, and I'm going to deal them one at a time. And what I do is I invite a volunteer to say stop whenever they want. And here's what's amazing: they really can say stop whenever they want. So let's just say they say stop here. I give them a chance. Do you want to go a little further, or do you want to stay here? Maybe they decide they want to go a little further. And then let's just say maybe they stop right here. And I say, are you sure? And if they are sure, I say, great. Well, you stopped at this card, which is a 9. Now here's what's amazing. You could have stopped a little sooner. You could have stopped at this card, which would have been a 10. You could have also stopped at this card, which would have been a 2. But you ended up stopping at a 9. Now what you're about to see is pretty crazy. Are you ready? I'm going to count down to the 9th card. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and this is number 9. Are you sitting down? There's your card. The 4 of Diamonds. Pretty neat, right? I love this trick. And it's actually so easy to do, and it's totally self-working. Now there is a little bit of a setup. I'll explain the setup, and then I'll give you several possibilities of things that could happen when you're performing this trick. You just need to know what to do in each situation, but it really is really easy to do. All right, so you get out your deck of cards, and the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to remove all of your 8s and 9s. So you should be removing 4 cards from each sections, 4 8s and 4 9s, I should say. So 8 cards total. So just remove all of your 8s and 9s, all of your 8s and 9s. Get them all. Mine are pretty much all together because I was just doing this trick for you. There they are. Again, you should have 8 cards total that you've removed. 8s and 9s. Give them a little shuffle because you don't want them to be in any specific order. Put them on top of the deck for a moment, and what you're going to do is you're going to take your thumb on top, finger on the bottom, and you're just going to take a top and bottom card as a pair and then put it down, and you're going to do this 8 times. This will be number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, 6, 7, and 8. Once you've done that, take this packet, put it back on top, and once you've done this, the deck is set up and ready to go. Basically what you should have is an 8 or a 9 in every odd position starting with the top card. So the number 1 card should be a 9 or 8. And then number 3 should be 8 or 9. Number 5, number 7, 9, 11, 13, and 15. So again, every odd card is going to be either an 8 or a 9. Once you've done this, you're set and ready to perform the trick. You can do a false shuffle. I don't recommend doing a riffle shuffle when you want to keep the top 15 cards on top, because that seems a little blockish. You're like leaving a lot of cards on top. You could do that if you really want to. However, the best false shuffle I recommend to keeping those top 15 cards on top is to do a reverse overhand shuffle. Grab a stack from like the lower one half of the deck and shuffle them on top. That's just a very good and believable shuffle. It looks really good. Looks like you're mixing them. Then, if you want to, you can also add a false triple cut, I should say. So basically, I've shown this before. You take the top 1/3, put it to your left, middle 1/3, put it in the middle, bottom 1/3, put it to your right, and then you pick up the left packet, you put it on top of the middle, put it on top of the right. It doesn't change the order of the cards, but it looks pretty good. Now, if you do this combined, it looks really good. You give a little shuffle like this, you go right into a false triple cut like this. It looks like you mixed up the cards. And in fact, all you did was keep the top 15 cards on top. So you should have, again, an 8 or 9 every odd card at the top. Now, once you've done this, you're ready to go. You invite a volunteer to cut off a small packet of cards. And what I say is cut off anywhere from 5 to 20 cards. And it's okay if they go over 15. It doesn't really matter. But you don't want them to cut like most of the deck. So I always say cut off a small packet of cards, anywhere from, say, 5 to 15 cards. So let's say they cut right about there. I put that packet aside, and then I spread the deck, and I invite them to take any card. And they really do have a free choice. They can take any card. In this case, it's the 3 of diamonds. Now, while they're looking at the card, what I'm going to do is I'm going to act like I'm spreading the deck, but really what I'm doing is I'm taking 3, and then 3 more, and then 2 more into my other hand, so that I have 8 cards in this hand. I invite them to put their card back into the deck. They're putting it right on top of this pile. I'm then taking these 8 cards and I'm throwing them on top, which means I'm putting their card into the 9th position. Now, you immediately go into a false shuffle where you're going to keep the 9 cards again on top. So in this case, I would do a riffle shuffle where I keep the 9 cards intact. So maybe when you do a riffle shuffle, you make the bottom stack, the bottom part that you take off a little bit thinner than the other. Start with that packet, and you're pretty much guaranteed to hopefully keep the 9 cards on top of the deck. So you could do a riffle shuffle as long as you don't affect those 9 top cards. And then you can again go into a false triple cut like we did before. That's fine too. So those two combined also look really good. Okay, just like this. Boom, boom, boom. And again, nothing has changed for the top 9 cards. The 9th card down should be indeed their card. Now you're going to put this aside and you're going to pick up the packet and you say, now you cut off these cards and I'm going to deal them one at a time. Now, as you're doing this, you invite them to say stop whenever they want. Now, the most important thing you need to do as the magician is remember where the odd cards are. So it's great if when you're dealing them, you get them to stop when you're on an odd card, which is what I did in my performance. But I'll show you what happens if they stop on a different one. So you go like this. You know, this is either going to be an 8 or 9. Then you're slowly doing this. This is number 3. So you know, again, that's going to be either an 8 or a 9. Maybe they stop you. Let's just say they stop you right here on a card that's one of the odd cards that you know is an 8 or 9. If that happens, it's great. What you're going to do is you're going to say, now, do you want to go any further? Are you happy? And if they say yeah, say, well, that's great because you stopped me on, it looks like an 8. And then what you're going to do is you're going to turn this card over and say, look, you could have stopped me on a 10. Or you could have also stopped me on a 5, but you ended up stopping me on an 8. Okay, now I'm going to reverse these, and I'm going to show you what you do if for some reason they stop you on an even card that you know is not an 8 or 9. So you know this is an 8 or 9. Get to here, the third card is an 8 or 9. Maybe you get to number 5, and then maybe you put 6 down and they go stop. So if that's the case, then you know the next one over here is going to be either an 8 or a 9. So all you're doing is you're just changing what you're going to say depending on where they stop you. So if they say stop right here, you say, are you sure? Do you want to go further? And if they want to go further, that's fine. And if they say, nope, I'm happy, then you say, well, that's great because it looks like you stopped at this card right here, which is, oh, it's an 8. And then you do exactly the same thing. Say, look, you could have stopped me on this card, which is a 5. You could have also stopped me on this card, which is a 7. But look, you actually stopped me on an 8. Now, what you're about to see is pretty amazing. You pick up this pile, and depending on whether this is an 8 or a 9, you're still going to count down to the 9th card. So if this is an 8, you say, we're going to count down 8 cards, and we're going to turn over the next card. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And my friends, that brings us to your chosen card, the 3 of diamonds. Of course, if this is a 9, you're just going to count down to the 9th card. We're going to count down to the 9th card. And what you're about to see is pretty amazing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And are you sitting down? The 9th card is your card, the 3 of diamonds. Pretty cool. Now, the one thing I want to mention is this. Sometimes when they cut off the packet, and let's say you've had a card chosen, you put it back into the deck where it's in the 9th position, you've done your false shuffles. Now you get to this point where you're counting every odd card, hoping maybe they'll stop on an odd card. So that's number 5. And then you get to 7, 9, 11, 13. Let's say you get to 15 and they still haven't said stop. What I recommend is you pause right here and say, you know what, we're going to run out of cards. Let's just start over. And again, you just have them say stop. Now, what will happen is every odd card will still either be an 8 or 9, as long as this is number 9, 11, 13, 15. Once you get to 15, you pick that up. And again, all you've done is reverse the order of the cards. So if that happens, again, you just go through, maybe do this slowly, because if you do this slowly, they probably won't get to 15. But let's just say, I lost count, but let's just say that we get to 15 again, and they haven't said stop, and say, you know what, we're going to run out of cards. Let's start over. Again, just say stop whenever you want. And if they say stop again on the odd card, then you're going to turn this over and you're going to show that it's an 8 or 9. Show the other two that they're different. And of course, if this is even, same thing, you're going to turn this one over. So nothing else changes. But if they do indeed go past 15, just pick up those 15 cards, throw them on top. Everything's reversed, but still the 8s and 9s are still in the odd positions, and it will work no matter what. So fantastic trick. If you enjoyed this trick, do hit like. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. If you'd like to be a member and learn some more advanced magic tricks, be sure to check out the membership section there as well. It's super reasonable. And then also there might be a couple videos over here you might want to check out and continue to learn some more amazing tricks. And don't forget to share my channel with some other magic enthusiasts in your life. So anyway, between now and then, go and be amazing.